What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon466cards, and today we're going to talk about how I used mind games, or perhaps how I tried to use mind games, you guys can be the judge of that, to win a card at Goldin Auctions. On your screen is the card that I wanted. It is a 2018 autographed A'ja Wilson rookie card. And the reason why I want this card is because I believe that A'ja Wilson is already the GOAT of the WNBA, and that legacy will only be further cemented in the years to come. And this is an autographed rookie card of hers. If we take a look at the checklist, this is actually one of 3 different variations of A'ja Wilson's signed rookie cards. Here is Cardboard Connection, and it says here, guaranteed in each box is one of 3 different image versions of rookie A'ja Wilson. And this is talking about inscription autographs. The other part is that there's only 500 total boxes. So if there was 1 per box and there's 3 different versions, and that's roughly 170 total copies of each version if it's just distributed roughly equally. If we look at the PSA pop count, you can see that these are the 3 versions: game action, street clothes, uniform, there we go. And you can see here 37, 45, and 33. So ballpark roughly equal, right? And I want 1 copy of each, and I didn't have this one. This is the street clothes version. I already do have this version. This is the game action version, and I'm still waiting to get this version. This is the uniform version. And you can see this auction ended on October the 3rd. This card also ended at Goldin Auctions on October the 2nd. More on this in a second. And so if we look at comps over the last little while, you can see that these are the 2 sales that I just showed you, right? This is the 1098 and 1769. That is a big gap. We'll talk about why that exists in a second. And if we scroll down, you can see that a raw version sold for 1800, of the street clothes version, another 1814. This is the uniform version, 1500, 1650, and then a slew of PSA 10 sold on September 21st. You can see 4800, 5100, 6500, and these are all different versions, right? And then on the 20th, it was only 3500. Why this big jump from 3500 to 5100 in just one day for a PSA 10? Well, on September 21st, 2025, A'ja Wilson became the first WNBA player to win the MVP 4 times. That's what happened on September 21st. Hence, all of these PSA 10s got snapped up. And so to me, that is an interesting data point. But up until these auctions, there was no PSA 9 version that sold. It was only these PSA 10s that sold on the 21st when she was named MVP, and then a bunch of raw versions that sold, but no PSA 9s, right? No PSA 9s, all raw or PSA 10s. And so that gets me wondering, what is the right price? Now, if you look at these PSA 10s selling for roughly 5-6 grand, to me, 2000 makes a lot of sense for a PSA 9, when a PSA 9 honestly looks just as good as a PSA 10. And the thing that I care about more than whether it's slightly off-center or not is actually the quality of the autograph. So that's why I wanted this card. I don't care for a PSA 10. This will do just fine. Now, as I mentioned, there were 2 copies in the 2 different versions of the A'ja Wilson autograph cards selling in the same auction on the same sightings on Goldin, for the October 2nd auctions. Now, I didn't want this one. I already have this one. I don't want this one. I did want this one. And so what I discovered was that I was bidding against the same person on both cards. And I know this because I had the high bid on this version, and the bids were coming at the exact same time as this version. So if we go to the bid history, you can see that this one, bids came in at 1010 and 1027. I was the high bid at the time. If we look here, we can see that bids came in at 1010 and 1027. Ended up ending at 1027 for this card because I had no interest in it, even though I think $1,100 was a steal, an absolute steal. And I could have bid on it, and I could have probably traded it or something, but I didn't want to go through all that work. I just wanted this card. And so what I did is I let this card go for a steal because there was no actual PSA 9 reference point. There was only the raw sales and the PSA 10 sales that had happened since her MVP win. And so what I wanted to do was use something called anchoring. And I've talked about this in a previous video, but I will just explain it here. It's a negotiation tactic, but it's also a psychological phenomenon where someone's judgment or decisions are influenced by a reference point or anchor, which can be completely irrelevant. And so that's what I tried to do here. By not bidding on this card, my intention was to set an anchor of $1,100 for whoever won this card, because he was also the same person I was bidding against for this card, right? And so he just won this card at 10.57 at $1,100. Why is he bidding so much for this card at midnight, right? That was the mind game, the anchoring effect that I was trying to instill in his mind, because it is still unclear what is the right number for a PSA 9, because there had been no recent sales since her MVP win. And so that's why I let this card slide, because I knew if I bid this card up, I was still going to lose to this guy. It might be 1,300, 1,400, 1,500, because I knew this guy was going to bid me up because he ended up doing so here. And so rather than bid him up on 2 cards, I'm like, I'm going to let him win this card to get him to second guess himself. Like, should it be $1,100, $1,200 and not $2,000? And that is what happened. I ended up winning this card for $1,769. I think that was a pretty good deal, considering that if we go here, that the raw versions were going for $1,800. Here you can see $1,800 and then $1,100. That's why this is an absolute steal. But I think that getting a PSA 9 for less than the price of a raw version is a very good deal. Again, I do not care to pay the PSA 10 premium, and that's why I thought this was great. And that is the mind games that I used. Now, maybe it had no effect at all, and I was going to win this thing no matter what anyways, that I was going to win it at 1769, whether or not I'd let him win it at 1100. I don't know, but in my mind, I like to think that this had a little bit of an effect of playing with his head. Now, I should say, since that auction win, there has been one that sold for 1879 or 1875 in a PSA 9 for the exact same card that sold for 1100 only a few days before. You can see this was on October 2nd, and then a fixed price sale on eBay on October the 6th. So like, clearly this was a steal, and this is more reflective of the market price. So the fact that I got it slightly under that makes me a little happy. And then you can see here a PSA 10 sold for $5,000. So it's still maintaining that $5,000 to $6,000 range. And so the fact that I got a PSA 9 for 1/3 the price, I think is still an absolute steal. I think that 1/3 of the price of a PSA 10 for PSA 9 that looks, honestly, they look the same, except that like this is slightly off center, if I remember correctly. If we look at this version, yeah, you can see here, no, actually it's not that off center. Is it the back that's off center? Yeah, maybe, yeah, it's like a little bit off center on the back, but, oh no, I think it's top to bottom here. You can see the top is not that, it's a small border here, much larger border on the bottom. To me, honestly, I couldn't care less. This card looks great, and the autograph and the inscription looks great, so that's all I care about. And I won the card, and so I'm now 2/3 of the way of completing the triple crown of A'ja Wilson autograph cards. The only one I'm missing is this one, and as you can see, I am following this auction closely. By the time you see this video, this will have ended, so we will see whether or not I won it, and maybe we'll see whether or not, if this thing goes for like $2 grand, 2,100, then I will feel very good about the amount that I paid. So that's it. That's the video. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments. Do you think that me not bidding on this card and letting him win it for $1,100 had some effect on me then winning this for $1,700, which is, you know, they're both PSA 9s, just different versions of an A'ja Wilson auto card. and yet one for 700 more. Do you think that if I had bid this thing up to 1500, that this then would have gone for maybe closer to 2,000? I'd like to think so, in my mind, that I did something to help reduce the price for me and also give this guy an absolute steal of a deal. So would love to hear your thoughts and comments. Thank you as always for listening and watching. I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.